Hello everyone, welcome back to Homemade Food Junkie. Today we are making homemade puff pastry. This is a really simple recipe and it's great if you don't want to go to the grocery store and get some puff pastry from their freezer section. You can make your own and have it put together in about 15 minutes. So let's get started. The first thing we are going to do is put 1 cup of flour into a bowl, followed by a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. The next ingredient is 10 tablespoons of cold butter. You want to get this straight out of the fridge and just cut it into little pieces like you see here. Next, add the cold butter into the flour and use a pastry cutter to cut it into that dry flour mixture. I like to keep cutting the butter in until it's in small pieces. The next ingredient is 1/3 cup of ice water. It's very important to make sure your water is ice cold. Use a fork to get the dough to start forming, and you can use your hands at the end to form it into a ball. Before you start rolling the dough, you're going to want a good amount of flour on your working surface and on your rolling pin as well. We are going to start working the dough from the center out with the rolling pin. Now, the key to a good puff pastry is using a proper number of folds for your dough, and what I like to do is 5 to 7 folds. As you can see, I'm doing my first fold here, and I'm going to put some more flour down because this will get sticky. You're going to start your second fold and just work it all the way out to the ends. With a puff pastry, the most important thing is keeping the temperature of that butter cold. So we are going to work fast and we're not going to roll it too many times, because if that butter warms up and melts into the dough, you're going to lose the puffiness out of that pastry. So we're just going to keep rolling and folding until the texture of the dough is just right. And about the time it starts to get sticky, I start to get a little bit nervous because I know that butter is warming up, and I will show you on my very last fold here, it does start to stick to the counter a little bit, and that's when I make the decision that it's probably a good stopping point. When you're all done with your folds, you can just get that pastry and fold it into fourths. I like to just fold it into a 1/4 sheet before I put it in the fridge. So the final step to this is to wrap it in saran wrap, and you want to stick it in the fridge for at least an hour. This is going to allow the gluten to relax and develop in the puff pastry, so you get a nice puffy pastry. You can even leave it overnight. I made these delicious apple turnovers with this particular puff pastry, and you can see those delicious puffy layers in there. I've made this recipe a few times, and each time I learn something new and it gets better and better. So this is definitely a recipe that you want to just keep practicing if you want to master this technique. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you make this pastry down below. I would love to hear how it turned out for you. Otherwise, please like and subscribe, and we will see you next time at Homemade Food Junkie. Bye-bye.